Yo, this is the Scarcity Studios YouTube channel. Please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. And our sponsors are Alpha Claims and Hire Birmingham, the leading and best accident management company. Get a replacement car anywhere in 1 hour. I really appreciate you joining me today. And we've got a lot of news to catch up on, so we'll have some more uploads over the next few days. Our reporter Dave Nathan has been on the scene again in Neasden. We covered this story the other day in the original double stabbing that occurred there, where a man lost his life. That man has now been identified as Leon Street, and we send our condolences to his family and his friends. This story has developed and changed in context, as I think I said the other day is very common in these sorts of stories. Detectives investigating a murder in Brent on the 11th of January are now appealing for information after they've linked it to two other attacks. Additional police officers are patrolling in Neasden since Monday's murder, and these patrols have been stepped up in response to a further attack on Sunday. Local people have been urged to speak to officers if they see anyone that is acting suspiciously or they may need police assistance. Police were called to Neasden Lane North, NW10, shortly after 9:30 on Monday, the 11th of January, to a man that had been stabbed over the junction with Hazelwood Court. Officers attended along with ambulance service, and a 48-year-old male called Leon Street was found suffering stab wounds. Despite the best efforts of emergency services, he died at the scene, and a post-mortem examination on the 13th of January gave the cause of death as stab injuries to the chest. Mr. Street lived with his fiancée in Neasden Road North, near to the murder scene. He was a father and stepfather, and he worked as a delivery driver. His next of kin are being supported by police officers. Homicide detectives from the Metropolitan Crime Command are investigating the case, and they are now linking the fatal stabbing to another attack 10 minutes earlier in Neasden, near a bus station at the junction of Press Road. The victim was stabbed by a lone male who ran away from the scene. The male victim, aged in his 40s, was taken to hospital for treatment and has since been discharged. A third man was stabbed in Neasden Lane North, near a bus stop also at the junction of Press Road, at approximately 10 to 10 on Sunday, January the 17th. The man, aged in his 30s, was taken to hospital for stab injuries, and his condition is non-life-threatening. Detectives are keeping an open mind as to the motive for the stabbing, but they say none of the victims had been robbed. Attacker is thought to have said nothing significant to the victims. So for everyone in the local area to definitely stay aware, I know we've got a lot of subscribers in northwest London and around the Press Road area. Police have said the investigation into 3 stabbings, one of which was fatal, has a whole team that is dedicated to it, and they're trying to find answers for Leon's family. At this stage, they believe the attacks were committed by one person, a white male aged in his 30s, and they think he was wearing a dark coloured jacket on the 11th of January and the 17th of January. They are making progress and following a number of inquiries, and the investigation is really gaining pace, and they are speaking to local people, the detectives have said. But they still need more information. So this could literally be just someone randomly attacking people, however terrifying that is. That is the reality, and people need to be aware. They believe the suspect lives locally, and local people probably know him and may be suspicious of his behaviour. Officers are going through CCTV in order to try to locate him and people that they think could help with their inquiries. 2 men were arrested on the 11th of January, but both of them were released, and one of them was classed as a victim afterwards as well. This is still an open case, and very rarely we do actually cover these sort of stories, but when it's random people being attacked, we definitely have to at least pay respect and speak about it as safely as possible. So my condolences to the family of Leon Street, and we'll definitely keep you updated with anything else to do with that story. And in some other news from West London, not too far from Northwest London, police were appealing after there was a firearm discharge in the Notting Hill area, 2 drive-by shootings in 24 hours. The first incident happened on Cornwall Crescent in West 11 at 10 o'clock on Friday the 15th. And police were called again on Saturday the 16th to Ladbroke Grove at 10 o'clock. Firearm was discharged at a residential address that caused damage, and witnesses said there was a child inside the address and bullets ricocheted off the property. No one was reported to have been injured in either incident, and in both cases the suspects were on mopeds at the time of the shooting. And that links to this story of a man that was recently convicted, found guilty of possession of £1 million worth of drugs and also 3 firearms in the West London area. They said that Ali Sarouk, 25, from Westminster, has been sentenced to 18 years in prison at Harrow Crown Court on the 14th of Jan. He was found guilty at the same court on the 13th of November for 3 counts of possession of a prohibited weapon, possession with intent to supply Class A drugs, cocaine, possession with intent to supply Class B drugs, cannabis, and possession of criminal property, £5,000 in cash. On the 23rd of January 2020, at 7:15, detectives from the Crime Command were carrying out surveillance in the Brent area. They had reason to stop a vehicle that was driven by Ali, who was a known gang member, they said. The vehicle was a BMW and it was searched, and a concealed hide inside it. They located 6 kilos of cocaine. Simultaneously, a drug warrant was executed at an address in Brent that was linked to him. Inside the property, they recovered a further 4 kilos of cocaine, a large quantity of cannabis, money, body armour, several zombie knives and drug mixing equipment. The combined total of cocaine seized had an estimated value of 1 million on the street. During the search of the second vehicle linked to Ali, a Volkswagen that was parked outside the premises during the raid, officers recovered a loaded handgun. A few days later, on the 28th of January 2020, officers attended another address and removed the third vehicle linked to him, and the vehicle, a BMW, was searched and they found 2 more handguns. He was charged on the 29th of May 2020 and was convicted. Detective Inspector Jim Casey said protecting the community of London from serious violent criminals is the top priority for the Met Police. Removing these drugs, firearms and individuals from the street has undoubtedly saved lives, and the Crime Command continues to do this and bring offenders to justice. So as you can see, these firearms were very well hidden in various different locations, and it took the police's surveillance in order to stumble across it. So I really want to hear what people have to say on these stories. Please don't forget to follow us online as well at Scarcity Studios, and I'll be back again very shortly with some more news. Peace.